Welcome to this week's spelling lesson. This week we are focusing on the sound PH that says F. You'll find PH at the beginning of words, in the middle and at the end, and in all those positions it remains making the sound F. So let's take a look at some of the words that we're going to be looking at this week, and we're going to be looking at this sound PH for F. Phone. So this is a shortening of the word telephone, and in this word it is at the beginning. Phone. Few. If some of you are learning to ride your bikes, you may have a few near misses where you nearly fall off but not quite, and if that happens you might say, phew, that was close. Also, if you're getting too warm or you're in a hot country, you might say, phew, it's really warm. Phase. Sometimes we might say, oh, so-and-so is going through a phase of loving broccoli, so I'm cooking lots of broccoli with dinners. They might say, oh, I'm going through a real phase of baking at the moment because I'm stuck at home. So phase, again, PH at the beginning. Phrase. Some of you might know other languages, and if you do, you might know some of the phrases in different languages. So we can learn a phrase. That means a sentence, and we can learn them in different languages. Phrase. Photo. This is short for photograph, which we'll see later. And at the beginning of photo, it is PH. Photo. These are all quite simple spellings, and you just need to remember that the F sound you can hear is PH. Phonics, something you did lots of in nursery reception and some in year 1. Learning new sounds and learning what they sound like when you put them together. Phonics. Orphan. We see orphans in wildlife and also in humans. It's somebody who doesn't have a parent. So they may have been orphaned, particularly in countries where animals are endangered. There might be an orphaned animal that needs to be looked after by another group of animals. Phantom. This is another word for a ghoul or a ghost, something imaginary, a phantom. Pheasants, something we see lots of in Norfolk. Pheasant. Dolphin, the F sound is in the middle here. Dolphin. Graph, this is something you make to show data, so things that you found out. So if you were wanting to find out how many children liked pears and apples in a class, you might make a graph to show it, and you'd be able to see by looking at the height of the two different parts of the graph which was most popular. Philip. This is a popular men's name, and it's got PH at the beginning, and it's a capital because it's a name. Nephew. If you are a boy and you've got an uncle or an aunt, then you are their nephew. Phobia. This means a fear of something. And this particular picture, this man is afraid of spiders. So he has arachnophobia, a fear of spiders. Photograph, there's that long word, and it's got PH at the beginning and at the end. Photograph. Alphabet, something we looked at on Friday when we were looking at order of alphabet and looking things up in the dictionary. Alphabet. And microphone, for those of you who like a good sing-song on the microphone, if you like karaoke or singing along, then you might use a microphone. And that also has the word phone in that we looked at earlier. Paragraph. This is a section of writing, and you will be learning so much more about paragraphs as you move into prep. And in a paragraph, you might focus on one particular area of your story or of your writing, and when you are changing the subject or moving on to something else in your story or a new event, you might start a new paragraph. Phoebe, a popular girl's name beginning with PH. Okay, so those are the PH words I wanted to share with you today, and I've also got another activity for you to do as well today. If you have your spelling books at home, then I'd definitely like you to fill in your spelling books today and write those sentences at the bottom of the spelling book. If you don't have your spelling book, then please feel free to practice your PH spellings straight into the book that you do have available, or indeed onto paper. So please don't worry if you haven't got your spelling folder. Okay, so this activity begins by filling in the missing PH sounds. So we've got various words here with the PH missing, and you're going to make them into real words. You're then going to use these words in some of these sentences below. So they've got a missing word, and each of the words that is missing does have the PH sound in them. Another word for a chemist is a pharmacy, and pharmacy is a word that you might see in other European countries as well. Pharmacy, another word for a chemist. There are 26 letters in the alphabet. Alphabet. And something is a large grey animal. Think huge ears, long trunk. Elephant. An elephant is a large grey animal. In maths, we drew a something to show everyone's favourite crisp. So as I explained earlier, if you want to show the results of a questionnaire or things that you've discussed in class, then you might draw a graph. And something is a child who has no parents. And again, it could be an animal in the wildlife. An orphan is a child who has no parents, or indeed an animal. We took lots of something when we were on holiday, and if you want to make memories and you want to keep those memories, you might take lots of photographs, and that has 2 lots of PH in. A something is a 3D shape. It looks like a ball. A sphere, and that's a word that some of us find really tricky when we're learning our 3D shapes in maths. Sphere. The first paragraph in a story usually sets the scene, and I call my friend on the phone every afternoon. I've left a space at the bottom for you to draw some pictures of those things if you wish. I have also got one more activity to show you, and this is really fun if you want to have a go at some PH games at home. And we've got various activities you can do. If I just show you on real or alien, a word zooms in and appears on the screen, and then you have to decide, is it a real word over here on Earth or an alien word that goes over here on the other planet? So I'm going to click real word because few is a word that's real. Huge round of applause, and you can do that with lots of different ones. Click on next if you want to see another, or home if you want to go back to the beginning and do a different activity. I really hope you enjoy those activities today and keep practicing those words with PH.